Director of Vision Hickman, and by Darrell James of James and Associates Engineering in Dixon. This northern property is much more doable, it lies better, and is more easily served by water and sewer, which is essential to any kind of development. Many of you know Ms. Pfeiffer and Mr. James, and think as highly of them and their professional opinions as I do. First, if it pleases the county court, I would like for Mr. James to say a few words about this project and answer any questions you may have.
Without objection.
Darrell James. I know a lot of you guys in here. I know a lot about Hickman County. I didn't grow up here, but I grew up in a suburb called Lewis County. So, and some of you may remember my mom and dad had the store at Brushy. If you ever saw a steel chainsaw, it might come from my dad's shop. So, Brenda just handed me these. I'm going to let you guys pass these around. I've looked at this property for a few years for the industrial board. In fact, about 5 years ago, I did a short report on, what might have happened with it, but it was on the entire site, 130 acres or so. Since then, of course, the industrial board has the industrial board determined that maybe, and I agree, that the large tract to the south, that, anything can be graded with an upper limit. But one of the things I asked them to relook at, especially that 24.47 acres right there, lays pretty good. I work in a lot of communities, in a lot of industrial parks where we, 20 acres is about the smallest that you can do. Although I was telling some of you earlier, we sited a small industry in the Dixon Industrial Park just about 2 weeks ago on 16 acres, and it is working out very well. They've actually are in the process of buying the property, and they'll be moving in there very quickly. The other thing is, of course, all the utilities, for the most part, of any capacity, is along the corridor, along 46 and highways in State Route 7. There's I believe it's a 6-inch water line that goes all the way up to the property. Of course, the gas is up there. The sanitary sewer would have to come down into this intersection somehow to be able to serve that. The topography that I've got on here, I got all this information from the property tax maps, and I've actually been on this piece of property, the 24 acres, about 5 years ago, and I did the report. Lays pretty good. The other tract that Steve was talking about is this 8-acre tract right here, and it's too small to put an industry on property. It's probably more suited to some kind of a commercial development, but if I understand it correctly, the landowner, they would consider a purchase of everything on the north side of State Route 1. With that, you all got that information. If you got any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer.
Does anyone have any questions? Mr. James.
Yes, sir. On the handouts, the margin down here where the corner where the old shoulder was at, that might match up with what you've got on your chart.
This one's correct. I think that building right there was actually sold recently.
There's no buildings on this 24 acres.
This was carved out, and it was actually sold to somebody else.
So the house
questions for Mr. James?
Mr. James, the sewer, if gravity flow all the way down to Ellis,
Well, it might. That's a lawyer answer. It all depends. But just looking at the topography, there's a high spot about right here, and we may be able to actually get gravity all the way down if we can get through that high spot. If not, it would be a force main all the way down. And the gravity sewer, actually, there's a manhole kind of on, let's see, that would be the northeast corner, and we'd be going down there.
Ms. Ward? Any other questions for Mr. James?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Now, if county court will allow, I would like to get an update on our need for viable and properly vetted industrial property from our executive director of Vision Hickman, Freeman Fife.
Without objection?
I have two reports that I want to share with you tonight. This first one here is a report that was done by the state of Tennessee last August. And it was a study that was done over projects that have been worked and landed in the state of Tennessee from 2011 to 2016. So you can see here on this page that 951 projects were worked by the state of Tennessee during that time, and 681 of them landed within 10 miles of an interstate. So our focus tonight is on a piece of property that's within 10 miles of two interstates, Interstate 40 and 840. On the second page, the one with the green lines, these are the project opportunities that came past us this last year, specifically for Hickman County. And you can see there were 11 projects that we had an opportunity to respond on for 15 to 25 acres. The key being that they had to be within 10 miles of the interstate. We couldn't apply for any of these 11 projects. Over the course of 5 years, you've missed at least 50 opportunities, probably thereabouts, to land some good projects on that piece of property within 10 miles of the interstate.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions of me?
Commissioner Wood?
Have you all talked to the owners as to their cost?
We've been in discussion, yes. I think we've come to an agreement, but we haven't signed anything on it.
So can we figure it out here?
It's, verbal agreement right now is 10,000 acres.
Mr. Ray, is there any action you're wanting the commission to take tonight?
You know,
Well, I'm just right.
all right. Now we come down to the purpose of all this. Last year, the county legislative body voted to include funding for the purchase of industrial property in the 2016-17 budget. That funding was in excess of $105,000. It was $105,900 something. Until now, that money has not been needed, but now it is. The next step necessary to evaluate the property for suitability is called due diligence. And it's essential to the purchase process. It consists of several steps. And let's see, I've got a list of the steps. We've got phase 1 environmental, a stream and wetland study, an endangered species study, cultural resource study, geotech study, a 2-foot topography survey study, and a utility feasibility study. Those total $43,450 by estimate. It's just a proposal, we're not sure exactly how much it costs, but that's the proposal. We need to secure timely options on the process, on the property throughout this process. $10,000 of non-refundable earnest money in April, July, and October, every 3 months. I'm hoping we don't have to do the one in October, will be finished, but they want to close before January of next year. So the total of all that, $73,450. There'll probably be other expenses associated with developing the property, but I don't know what those are right now. There'll be maintenance of it, setting a new entrance to it so people can drive onto it and look around. I'll urge you to authorize our county financial department to pay for the invoices of the due diligence items and other possible expenses associated with the purchase of the property as they come in, up to the amount that was appropriated. I need you to understand, a vote to free up the funds for this purpose is tantamount to approving the purchase of the property if the due diligence evaluations don't find anything too detrimental towards the purchase. I need that pre-approval to assure myself and all concerned that we aren't spending the money of the taxpayers towards something that won't fly. Now, anybody got any questions?
Do you have topo?
Not yet. We haven't paid for anything yet.
Commissioner Phillips?
Mr. Graves, that earnest money, is that going to be part and parcel of reducing the purchase price?
Yes, it all goes toward purchase price. So if we back out, it's just not.
Yeah, what I'm looking at now is $310,000 for 31 acres and then $43,000 for the studies to see if due diligence will allow us to proceed.
Right. That's right.
Thank you.
Commissioner Jordan?
You know, we've heard, a lot about we have to have 100 acres now to be in the running for anything. Is this 32 acres, two sites? And then I heard what, Darrell said, I heard what Brenda said, but, are we comfortable, Brenda, that we can sell? Are we comfortable that we can sell? 'Cause I know you said we had 15, we missed opportunities on 15 acres or less. You know, we've heard for years, we gotta have 100 acres.
Well, so you want at least 100 acres so that you have protection against housing development, so forth moving in. But the lift on the other side of the property, you know, there may be 50, 60, 70 developable acres there. So it's probably a better move for us to go into 23 acres and let's start playing the game. Because TBA right now has projects, they're looking for 25-acre, 50-acre sites to put 100,000, 200,000 square foot buildings. So the game has gotten very specific in the recent years. Also, as much due diligence as we can do ahead of time will get us farther in the process faster as well. And that's all a game changer. You know, 10 years ago when I was doing this, you would want 100 acres. And you can have put a phase one on it. Now, to play with the neighbors, you're gonna have to have more of the due diligence in place. You're assured by TBA and the state, you have the list, those are the projects from the state. I don't have the list from the TBA. They're very similar, but most of the projects are in the 15 to 25 acre range right now and have been steadily for the last year and a half. The only thing that would make it better is if we had rails outside.
With that being said, property across the road may be ideal for upscale housing development, but when it comes to how is this going to affect that way? Give it, do whatever we can.
There as quickly as we can, we should start looking at securing more property in that area to protect ourselves against any more residential housing. But Darrell and the PEP folks that looked at this property before, both sides of the property
in the paper, it was that, there was no other land available, I guess, from studies that have been done, and that, how do you determine that, determine if that is something, it's not necessarily real estate, or did you do a survey and see what land may be available if landowners property?
We know, we've identified some additional property, we've now talked to the landlord.
There you go.
Any other questions for Mr. Graves? Commissioner Haynes?
Yes. Does both of these properties not seem to be a better fit for commercial development? I mean,
The 8 acres would.
but even the 23, I mean, we're talking about it backs up to the nicest subdivision we probably have in East Houston. And,
Maybe the second one.
well, it's one of the nicest anyway, but what I'm saying is, to me, that property, the way it lays along that highway and things, would it not be more fit for commercial development? I don't know if the role and scope of the industrial board ought to be redefined, where it includes doing commercial type developments or what, but to me, I mean, the size of that lot, and I know there's a lot of developments go in on 10 to 15 acre tracts, but they usually are not part of a larger industrial park already.
Well, we have to get our foot in the door. Right now, we have no place to go. But to answer your question, the commercial aspect is gonna have to be limited. You can't put a bunch of driveways onto Highway 100 there. The access would have to be limited.
You can't do that with industrial either. I mean, you
But
have to
that's
have
right,
one
we're not-
road in either way.
That's why it's good for either one, but commercial wants road frontage. We don't need road frontage for industrial.
I see commercial done all the time with one road in and developments on each side of it. I mean,
And
it
it still
does
want to be
one
seen.
road.
Still want to be seen. There's a big bank there. You can't see it. But that's good, that's great for industrial development. We don't want to really be able to see it for the rest.
But one displeasure I do have is only learning this yesterday at the time, so I feel
Well,
like
it's,
more commissioners should already knew about this before we got down here.
But you may be right. I apologize for miscommunicating.
I don't mean to be harsh on that, it's just that we're both, if we're looking to spend this type of money, we need to know prior to a meeting what those dollar amounts are gonna be, have a little more time to investigate. But I do support what you're doing, don't take it wrong, we're gonna have, but you guys have done a lot of work, y'all put a lot into this, and I realize that. I don't mean to be harsh, but I just, when it comes to spending money, everybody needs time to think about it.
Okay.
Commissioner George?
Just want to back up Mr. Gray. I hate to say this, but I work in Franklin. And I work there every day. I have to leave this county, drive an hour and a half to go to work. Franklin, right off the end of Downs Boulevard, I think it's 231, one of the nicest industrial sites, mixed use USA. Backs up to one of the most expensive subdivisions. I'm talking about $750,000 houses. So it can be made to work. I mean, if you drive down that thing, I'd love, me and Mr. Clark have talked about it, I've talked about it with a couple other people. I'd love to take a van load of these mixers, drive down that lane right across from Chick-fil-A, drive down that lane. If you rode down through there, you really couldn't tell it's industrial park. It's a mixed use. The fronts of those things, you drive in one of the fronts of them, it's all brick, and you think it's an office building. You go in the back, it's Sack Creek. It's awesome. I mean, it just, and if we could have the same thing, I want to back you up to that, because, and then there's a subdivision with about, I'm going to be off, but it's over 100 houses that back up to it. And it's on, what's the route that goes all the way around? Backcatcher Boulevard. It is off of Backcatcher, off 231, which is at the end of Downs Boulevard, and that subdivision, their access comes off Backcatcher, and you can't tell it's there. And that, I mean, that's, we can do this, and still everything work out right. Because they did it over there, and it backs up to, I'm talking about $706,000 house. Very few of those in here. So, I'll rest, I'll yield.
Well, I got involved with the industrial board 4 years or better ago, because I believe that an industrial park can be developed without being, without impacting the surrounding neighborhood. So that's why I'm here, and that's what I intend to do.
Any other questions for Mr. Graves? Mr. Phillips?
If it's appropriate at this point in time, I'd like to make a motion that we authorize the Industrial Development Board to proceed with their due diligence studies, access the $105,000 that was appropriated in this budget, subject to, as Mr. Graves reported, that the total cost of the studies and the purchase price of the land doesn't exceed $360,000. Is that an appropriate motion to make?
You are authorizing, you're giving the approval, legislative body approval, for them to push forward with the due diligence portion of this, or are you, which is the 70,000, or are you?
Well, that's the $43,000 for the studies, Mr. Graves said. The earnest money would be coming out of the total purchase price, as I
So we're gonna work out at 105?
Yes.
Okay.
At this current appropriation in this current year.
But it's in the pursuit of a larger amount, but we're not talking about a larger amount, we're talking about what's been already appropriated.
Yes.
And I have a second from Commissioner Ford. If you give us 2 seconds to render this in the appropriate writing. The clerk's going to read the motion.
Motion is to give approval for the Industrial Development Board to access appropriated funds to do the due diligence on the forest property lying north of Highway 150.
Is that okay for the sponsor in a second? Any discussion on the motions on the floor?
I don't think, I'm sorry. Read that motion.
Give approval for the Industrial Development Board to access the appropriated funds to do the due diligence on the forest property lying north of Highway 100.
With next to him, exceeding the dollar amount, not to exceed.
Commissioner Ford, right now, there's $105,000 or thereabouts in that account, so they're gonna be dipping into that account for some reason. I'm just making sure that you two gentlemen are okay with the motion and everything presented.
My only caveat would be, we heard Mr. Graves say that it'd be tantamount to being agreeable to buying that property, so I know we have to reappropriate those funds designed to pay debt on industrial property in future budget years.
Right now, the only money that's out there that's available, that I'm aware of, is $105,000. If we wanna do something else that's gonna require borrowing, which is what we're talking about, and that's gonna be, we can handle that now. But that's gonna be a whole different rodeo than what we're in right now. Right now, we're talking about money that's already been on the table, set aside for these folks to do exactly this. And that's what we can deal with. If you guys wanna roll with that, if you wanna do something different, we can do something different. But the only money that's out there that I'm aware of, Annette, is what's already set aside. Anything else is yet to be determined. again, I want to make sure that you guys, are the sponsor and the second of the motion, are good with how that's being presented.
I have a question for Mr. Graves. When did you say the first possible chance to ask for earnest money would be? Or the contract for an option?
April 28th, 4 days from now.
I would like to amend that motion to include not only the due diligence, but also earnest money of $10,000.
Without objection. Any other discussion by the sponsor, the co-sponsor? Then we'll move to the members. Commissioner Deal, see you next.
I feel like I understand what they're trying to do, and that's great, but unless we got the approval to borrow this money to buy this property with, that part of it's useless. I mean, we need to get down and dirty here tonight and say, we're gonna do this or we aren't. Unless the work that's being done, say, you know, we got caves under that piece of property and it's useless, and we get out of it, but, you know, I mean, we can set aside this money and use out of it. I understand that's what we wanna do to get this thing started, but we also need to okay on this money to be spent for this property, or we're just wasting time.
Commissioner McDaniel?
I'm sorry, I agree with him. I mean, if you're gonna put all this money into this, and then where's the rest of it gonna come from? What are we gonna do from that? Are we just gonna not vote on getting the rest of it and just throwing all this money that we're going to apply all this, to approve all this to get done and do stuff? I mean, I don't know, cause that's a lot of money to put into that, and then we run into a roadblock, and what are we gonna do now?
I saw Commissioner Thomason's hand next.
Mr. Chairman, I think if the commission would think of this due diligence process money as equivalent of a home inspection. If you want to buy a $300,000 house, you want to get it inspected and checked for termites and everything else with it. And I agree that if we're going to go to that extent, you need to be ready to step up and say, okay, I'm going to put an offer down, but I want it inspected and checked out first. But that would probably be another step after this, unless you want to back up and complicate this motion to include it all. Thank you.
Commissioner George?
I think I might want to make an amendment to this to reassure these folks that, and reassure Mr. Phillips, Mr. Gray, is if it passes all preliminary inspections, that we'll assure you that we'll do a capital outlay note, purchase property at said price. I don't know what said price is. You said you hadn't got that, but we would back you up and say we'd do a capital outlay note or however we need to without throwing away the $43,000 or whatever for inspection price. I think that's what y'all looking for. And so that being said, I think I'd like to make an amendment to that, the resolution, saying that we would ensure Mr. Graves that we would somehow come up with the money to purchase property at said price. Does that work for you, or, because you don't know what said price is yet, right?
We're fairly certain, but not positive. No decided.
But I'm just saying that this would reassure them that we're not throwing away good money and then not gonna spend money to purchase the.
Right.
Make an amendment.
If you could help us out with that verbiage, I'm more than happy to take it in.
Make an amendment to the motion. We're spending $143,000, I've already said, out of 105, right? And that could go up or down on the 43. We're not sure what it's gonna cost. My amendment is that we will do a capital outlay note if it passes all set inspection to purchase the property. That's simple enough. No? If we had to make it simpler, now I'll do it.
The motion to amend is, we will authorize a capital outlay note if the property passes all inspections. Is there a second to that motion to amend? Second by Commissioner Deal. Any discussion on the motion to amend? Commissioner McFarland.
Following up on Mr. Thompson's comparison, the idea of doing a house inspection, you would do that before you went and bought a house. But what you would also do before you decided to spend that money, you would have a price set. I don't think anybody in this room would go and spend a lot of money to get a house inspected, and then, you know, the person who owns the house said, oh, well, he or she's already invested a lot of money, they're gonna want this house, what am I gonna do with the price? They've already invested $43,000. We don't have a price. We don't have a price for the property. And it, you know, what about the old adage, pig and hope? You don't have it. You're gonna spend $43,000 plus put $10,000 down on property you don't know how much it's gonna cost you. I'm sorry. That doesn't make sense. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Hill.
I'm thinking that several years ago, that process was introduced and went backwards and forward. Lately, the Justice Board asked that the county asked the Justice Board to do total cost estimate. And that's what that board got to ask them to do, borrowing a certain amount of money, amortization, interest on that. So you have really a total cost estimate. That would satisfy what the borrowing idea wants. I can see two phases. We need to free up that $105,000. Earnest money and due diligence. That's one thing. Then somebody needs to go to the bank, price the remainder that we need, come back and have a total cost estimate. Now, I realize your time is so short, we're out of time to do all of it. No, we did that. Then there was a matter of getting approval and borrowing the money. We had to get a certificate of public purpose of necessity, being borrowed the money. It takes months. So it's not near as much, we wanted $1 million then, but only a fraction of that now. So it might be a way to avoid that certificate of public purpose of necessity. So the timeline is so short. I am sure in my own mind we need to free up that $105,000 for this purpose. To do it. We sure could use the total cost estimate quickly.
Commissioner Meeks.
Yes, this question might be better answered by Mr. James, but what is the approximate cost of getting sewer up to that site? You have the numbers on that, I'm sure you might have some per foot cost or something available.
When I did your, over 4 or 5 years ago, I used about $50 a foot just to be very conservative. It's probably more like about $30 a foot.
Can't keep something like that. I spread that like $5 a month.
No, it was, I don't know, 1,500 feet or something on there.
Is that full spring?
That'd be full. we had about 2,000 feet in there, just rough estimate.
I think it'd be pretty, the pool would be about $40,000. We expect the state to pay about $80,000.
Yeah, I mean, you know, once you get into the project, you find, you know, some possible ways to get some grant money from that.
We expect to get from the board.
I didn't assume that, but, that's all it's not.
Commissioners, we have a motion to amend that's on the floor, and I apologize for letting this loosely move on. But there is a motion to amend the original motion. Is there any more discussion on the motion to amend? Commissioner Hayes?
For clarification, I think the motion started getting made before the discussion said even in. That's, I think what caused all this. So, but, and you can't help that, but the motion's got made.
But right now, do you have any more to add, Commissioner Haynes, to the motion to amend?
I do just like that if we're gonna build sewer all the way up to where we're limited to 23 acres. If the sewer was already there at the 23 acres, there's no question in my mind what to do. Having to build it up there, you're gonna have something additional to serve beyond it necessarily. I don't know.
Any other questions, discussion on the motion to amend the original motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner McCoy?
would you please read the proposed amendment?
Yes, please.
Made a motion to amend that we will authorize a capital outlay note if the property passes inspection.
That's the motion to amend. Any other questions on the motion to amend? Hearing none, roll call vote. Oh, sorry, Commissioner Ward.
Are we making this motion without, we're making this motion and still don't know what it's gonna cost? Is that right? Without having any estimate of how much the land's gonna be?
Is it Commissioner Ports?
I'm relying upon an estimate of $10,000 an acre plus the feasibility. Left out of the motion, but commented by Commissioner Phillips was a ceiling price of $360,000, which gave, with my quick math, gave you about 20 to play with. So that's what I'm relying on when I vote.
Commissioner Ward.
We never voted on that amendment.
No, but that's because we have the motion to amend the original motion. Any other discussion on the motion to amend? Commissioner Clark.
I've got a question. If this amendment passes, does that lift, we still can't lift the $105,000 cap. That takes budget amendments and everything else. This is more of a good faith. Am I misinterpreting it? Can we handle it different than amending the motion? I mean, I tend to agree with Mr. McFarland on this. Is we're agreeing to pay for a piece of property that we only have a cost estimate on in this motion. We're agreeing to pay for it. Should it pass, we're going to pay for it. With only an estimate of $310,000, and it could come back. I mean, the press is here. It could go out into the paper, and the owner could decide he wants to sell it for $18,000 an acre. He's got this. I'm playing in a game I'm not really good at. I can't vote for the amendment as it's presented.
Any other discussion on the motion to amend? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Ronnie Jordan?
Yes.
Gary Haynes? No. James Hassel?
No.
Al Esmond? Justin Jordan?
yes, 11 no, 2 absent.
8 yes, 11 no, 2 absent. The motion to amend fails. You have before you the original motion, which is the clerk will read.
Motion to give approval for the Industrial Development Board to access the appropriated funds to do the due diligence on the forest property lying north of Highway 100.
Any discussion on the original motion? Commissioner Matheson.
We need to change copies in the forest property, which will share.
Thompson. Without objection? We're replacing the word forest with Thompson. Any other discussion on the motion that's on the floor? Commissioner Deal.
We're going right back to where we was at. I don't know how to put this into words, but we seem like we're gonna do everything all the way up till, okay, we're gonna purchase it, no. And that's the end of it. It drops and it's never heard of again for 4 years. We can put all the money out there that we want to if we don't have the money to say that we're gonna buy this property. And with a cap of 360,000 for the property, all the inspections and all the hoorahs that they have to do with that. I don't know if that needs to be in that. In his motion, you said it, but was it initially in the motion to have a cap of $360,000? I think that would make everybody feel better here.
Yeah, I said that initially, I meant for it to be in the motion, it was fine with me that it wasn't. I think that anybody that's voting on this motion could allow the studies on due diligence to go forward, ought to realize that as long as Mr. Graves is coming in close to what he suggested, the $10,000 paid for a vote to let them access the appropriation down the road needs to be a future vote that we're going to vote to approve the purchase that goes forward. I was satisfied with the motion on the floor is stated without all that extra verbiage, but I think everyone needs to realize if you vote to spend, the $40,000 for the survey, that it's just a waste. You're not also willing to spend $10,000 an acre for 31 acres. Now, if Mr. Groves comes back and the owners are going to want $20,000 an acre, well, I'm off the shook at that point. I'm just in 10,000, no more than that within reason. But again, that's something that's every individual when the vote comes up to approve is going to have to decide. But tonight, I decided that if it's $10,000, that's what I'm going to go with when the final authorization comes up to proceed with the final purchase.
But now that's not what your motion really.
No, it's not. There's an amendment to Andy.
I just want to make sure that everybody understands this. And I think we're getting a lot of negative out of it because everybody's, oh, we don't know. We do know. We're gonna put a cap on this at $360,000, and if it goes over that, then we make the decision then, yea or nay.
I've got two hands over here, Commissioner McFarland and Commissioner Ward. Phil, hold on 1 second. Let me make sure that you guys understand what I'm trying to make sure that we ran right through. It's something that's legitimate. If you want to go tonight and do this, we'll recess and somebody go put together a resolution. If you're trying to do this by wording, by verbiage, by a motion from the floor. Now, it's a little bit excessive for us to say, we're gonna go do that, use that 105. But it's way outside of the bound of what would be normal, acceptable practice for us to, by motion, verbal, without a resolution, authorize a capital outlay, which is really where we're kind of sneaking to. And I'm trying to pull us back because that's not the way we do this. Now, there's already $105,000 that this body set aside in this budget for these guys to use if they came and said, here's what we need. And without all that other discussion that's going on, which I agree with, that there's some assumptions if we move forward on this. But what we need to act on is what we can act on. Now, if we want to recess, I'm more than happy for us to recess and somebody to go put together a resolution that authorizes the issuance of some capital outlay. But to do that from a motion from the floor, that's a little bit, it's just not appropriate. Now, having said that, again, there's $105,000 they've already got, they just needed to come back and do what Mr. Graves is doing tonight. Say, guys, this is what we need access for. And that's kind of why I tried to rule that into that particular cubbyhole, because that's something that we can do tonight. Now, beyond that, if we want to, again, I'll be happy to, somebody wants to have a recess and go back and put something together, we can. But we've got a finance director back here who's got to work within the confines of the rules. And a capital outlay is not something we're just going to authorize from the floor. That's just not the way that works. I see Commissioner George. I'm going to go back to Commissioner McFarland. And I'm just saying that as a clarification of why I tried to do what I attempted to do. Commissioner McFarland.
At the risk of beating the dead horse, if you went out to a car dealership, a used car dealership, and you saw a car that you would like, but you were not quite sure about the mechanics of the car, and you say, well, Mr. Car Dealer, I want to take it over to my mechanic, and for $500 or whatever, he will check the car out for me before would you do that before that salesman, that car dealership, gave you a specific price on the car? No. Now, one, I'm in favor of us developing. I want industry here. And people will go out and say, no, you don't want it. But the idea is, again, we don't know how much we're going to pay for this property. Do we want to invest $43,000 into something we don't know how much it's going to cost us, period? Would you go out and spend $500 to have that car examined by your mechanic, and then go back to the car dealership and him say, oh, it's X amount, and you think, no, it's, I've done spent the money. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Ward.
I agree partially with Commissioner McFarland. When the motion was put to the floor for us to vote on, the cap was not there. I was in favor of putting a cap, but when we voted, there was no cap. So if we're going to go out and spend, just like it was discussed earlier, the people know that we're going to buy the property. If they can put whatever price they want to on it, because they know, okay, they've already voted to buy the property. So until a cap is put on, I will not vote on it. If we're going to do it that way.
Commissioner George.
As you said, it's not always the proper procedure, but this body voted on the budget last year, and I was one of the only people who voted against the budget. If we didn't put enough tax money in to fund everything we voted for. So if you're gonna vote for it, you gotta fund it. We're unfunding something, and we're gonna spend some money, and whether we put a cap on it, it was a good intention, that was my intention. But as I sat on the building committee, of course, I got kicked off the building committee. We didn't fund senior citizens, and we didn't fund our old courthouse over here. And it needs maintenance. And I said, and y'all look it back up a minute, we're headed to Georgia with $20 in our pocket, and you ain't gonna make it. And we're fixing to do the same thing. That's why I'm looking at it. If we're not gonna fund something, we're missing a great opportunity. We missed it a long time ago. And whether we need to change some verbiage or so what? I mean, help me out here. I mean, if it's that complicated, I know it is complicated. But it's our best intention to move forward. And like I said, I have to drive an hour and a half every day to go to work. It was nice when you could drive 30 minutes to come down here and go to Tincon at the button factory. I mean, we can't go fishing without some bait and a fishing rod. I mean, that's just that simple, people. And I guarantee it, if we're already not funding items and setting budgets, and we know we don't have enough money, I'm just saying we're gonna do this again. I have faith in this body. I yield.
Commissioner Ismail?
I would agree with you with that.
When I suggested that we put $105,000 in the budget for the industrial board, it was a number that in mind from several years ago, we paid the debt on $1 million. Didn't contemplate having to spend some of that $100,000 to go out and do due diligence. Shame on me for not including that in the budget. I don't think any of us would agree and willingly vote to waste any money. I understand why the industrial board doesn't have a firm price on that property. Every time they've gone out and struck a deal, we've not supported them, second guessed them, politics against them. When I vote yes for this motion, it'll be a show of support and a show of trust that the industrial board knows what they're doing. They found a piece of property that we need to buy. It's $10,000 an acre, or it's $9,000 an acre, or it's $12,000 an acre. I'd leave that up to the industrial board whether to spend that money or not. Vote yes.
Commissioner Cowper?
Help me out with the process. We approved 43,000. At what step will you get a firm price?
Friday.
So if you walk in there Friday and he says, I've changed my mind to $20,000, will any of that 43,000 be spent? So once the approval of, you go, I mean, that first thing is, I mean, I know I understand you got a price in print, but I know that before you come talk to us, you can't commit. The board cannot commit to anything. And so the first thing you're gonna find out is what he really wants. Put the earnest money down, so the price is set, and then go forward from there. Okay.
Any other, discussion on the motion that's on the floor? Commissioner McFarland?
I'm bored tonight. This is where I wanna be.
With that lightning strike right there, let me ask, again, you know, I've made my reservations totally clear. But if we can, at risk of another amendment, Mr. Chairman, if we can make it that a dime of that $43,000 isn't spent unless the price is X amount. Then we take out this pig and poke. Would that be correct? So, Mr. Chairman, I make the motion to set the price that we only offer, is it $10,000?
Well,
That we only make the $10,000. Now, if I have a set price, I can go with the $43,000. I make that motion that we set the price at $10,000, no more than $10,000 an acre.
Have a motion by Commissioner McFarland to amend the original motion to cap the offered price at $10,000 per acre. Is there a second? Second by? Is there? I've got a motion by Commissioner McFarland to cap the offering at $10,000 per acre. Second by Commissioner Haynes. Any discussion on the motion to amend? Commissioner Jordan.
Doesn't that bring it right back to where we were with the other motion, putting put ourselves out there to have to do a cap ballot?
I would not think so. I think if I understand what Commissioner McFarland, he just put the trigger on the original motion. Commissioner Caldwell.
I have a problem with putting 10,000 cap on there if we let the industrial board sit down and do their work. Owner of the property gets wind of this, he says $10,001 or whatever. I don't wanna restrict them. I mean, I think they know by the discussion here that if it's a whole lot more than $10,000, we're gonna balk. That's my thought. And as far as the capital outlay, if put the earnest money down, things go bad wrong, we find out a lot of problems, and we have to back out because it's the cost the county $10,000 plus whatever was spent to find the problem, instead of committing ourselves to $350,000. That's the way I see it.
There's a motion to amend on the floor. Motion by Commissioner Carter and second by Commissioner Haynes. To cap this at $10,000 per acre. Any discussion on the motion to amend? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Ronnie George,
No.
Gary Haynes,
Yes.
James Hassan,
Yes.
Tom Isbell, Dusty Jordan,
No.
Christie McDaniel,
No.
Mark McFarland,
Yes.
Ricky Murray, Keith Nash,
Yes.
Steve Phillips,
Yes.
John Ford,
Yes.
Wayne Thomas, Frankie Ward,
Yes.
Kevin Bates,
Yes.
Billy Blackman,
No.
Bob Caltrine, Mike Chester,
Yes.
Danny Clark,
No.
John Deere.
Yes.
The city commission wishes to change his or her vote.
12 yes, 7 no, 2 absent.
12 yes, 7 no, 2 absent. The motion is now amended. You have before you the motion as amended. Any discussion on the motion as amended?
Question.
Roll call vote.
Ronnie George,
Yes.
Gary Haynes,
Yes.
James Hassan,
Yes.
Tom Isbell, Dusty Jordan,
Yes.
Christie McDaniel,
No.
Mark McFarland,
Yes.
Ricky Murray,
No.
Keith Nash,
Yes.
Steve Phillips,
Yes.
John Ford,
Yes.
Wayne Thompson,
Yes.
Frankie Ward,
Yes.
Kenneth Bates,
Yes.
Billy Blackman.
No.
Paul Calcott.
Yes.
Ray Chester.
Yes.
Danny Clark.
Yes.
John Key.
Yes.
Does any commission wish to change his or her vote?
16 yes, 3 no, 2 absent.
16 yes, 3 no. 2 absent. Mr. Miller up here. You got anything else? We're gonna very quickly take the notaries. We have 2 notaries that have been brought
Thank you,
before the
sir.
body tonight. Marvin J. Blocker and Bradley Henson. Marvin J. Blocker and Bradley Henson. Do I have a motion to approve? Motion by Commissioner Carlin. Commissioner, second by Commissioner Blackman. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Ron,
Yes.
Gary Haynes.
Yes.
James Hassan. Tom Isbell. Justin Jordan.
Yes.
Chrissy Daniel.
Yes.
Mark Farland.
Yes.
Ricky Murray.
Yes.
Keith Nash.
Yes.
Steve Phillips.
Yes.
Ron Ford.
Yes.
Wayne Thompson. Tracy Ward.
Yes.
Kenneth Bates. Billy Blackman.
Yes.
Paul Calcott.
Yes.
Clay Chester.
Yes.
Danny Clark.
Yes.
John Deal.
Yes.
Does any commission wish to change his or her vote?
19 yes, 2 absent.
19 yes, 2 absent. We have a, notaries have been approved. We're gonna take a 5-minute recess, and we will come back in here at 8:00.